Hey there, it is time for our live Cooking for Health session again. As you know, the MarshaJonesNP.com website and what I do at Spring Valley Family Care is about hormonal balance and cancer prevention. So we're doing these cooking sessions every week because I want to show you how easy it is to make food that's actually healthy for you. And a lot of times the problem that we see is that I tell you all kinds of things that are good for you, but it's kind of hard to put it all into action without, and ideas and what's going to actually taste good and what works within your life. So that's what I'm doing is I've started these videos back up again, and thank you for all the comments last week because I actually did miss doing this and I didn't realize how much I missed doing it until we started doing it again, and everybody was giving me the feedback and everybody was excited just like I was to have me doing this again. So I do hope that you learn things from this, and please comment, please ask questions. Last week, we weren't able to see the comments, but I think we've got that fixed now because we have like multiple devices set up here. And of course, beautiful Princess is doing recording again and going to read questions for me. So like I said, ask plenty of questions. So the focus that I'm doing today is with mangoes. So mangoes, I don't really think about mangoes a lot, and I'm sure most people don't either, because we don't realize just how good they are for us, and they're not like one of those most common popular type of foods. But mangoes are like, they have everything in what we are working on. They have anti-cancer effects, they have hormone balancing effects, they have fiber, they have phytochemicals that can actually work towards destroying some of the abnormalities that can cause cancer to not only happen, but to keep it from spreading. So those phytochemicals, and when I say phytochemicals, phytoestrogens, phytonutrients, anything in general, it just means that it comes from a plant. So the things that you get from your food, you can't get it the same stuff if you take a supplement. There are supplements that, yes, we take. Vitamin D is one of the biggest ones because it's hard to get vitamin D in a lot of different foods, but all these other things like getting a variety of fruits and vegetables and colors into your diet, that is profound. It's going to help you in your health and your cancer prevention and hormone balancing more than anything else. And, so I'll start cooking some of these foods and I'll talk while I'm doing it. I talk too much. But one of the things, so everything has to be pretty. Like, presentation means so much, and you're going to want to eat it more if it's pretty. If you're going to serve it, somebody's going to be more likely to go, oh, that's beautiful. It's attractive to the eye. And it tastes good also. So if you have people that are a little concerned about, ooh, I don't like kale, because kale is one of the things we're using today, don't even tell them. Just make this really nice salad and serve it. And then after they tell you how good it is, go, oh yeah, that was kale. Or, mango or whatever it is. Things that are pleasing to the eye make a huge difference. But so the kale, this is actually from one of my wonderful friends and patients. Brought me some fresh organic kale from her garden, so we're using that today. But kale, I'm going to cut this up into little pieces. With kale, it is a cruciferous vegetable. Cruciferous vegetables are very important for balancing estrogen. You can get that in broccoli, you can get it in kale. Those are some of the best ways to get it. Kale is a superfood. It also helps to detoxify your body. So if you see people doing a lot of detox smoothies, they almost always have kale in it, and that's because the phytochemicals are good for detoxification, and they're anti-inflammatory. We know that fighting cancer, you have to worry about inflammation and cutting down your inflammation. So that is why this is one of those superfoods. Because, again, I'll tell you, I have the Health Interventions for Cancer program, and one of the things we go into there is that cancer is a mitochondrial disease, so we work to support the mitochondria. Mangoes and kale are very good for the mitochondria. Cancer is a metabolic disease. So meaning we work to balance your insulin and balance your hormones that affect metabolism. And when we do that, that also helps us with balancing hormones and fighting cancer. All right, so you see I cut my kale all up. You can do it however you want, whatever size you want, but I find these to be nice bite-sized pieces there. So put that in first. And then we're gonna pour about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You could also use avocado oil if you want a little more of the omegas, but olive oil and avocado oil are very good for salads. So pour a little bit of that on there. The other thing that I'm going to mix in there is cilantro. We talked about cilantro last week, how it's anti-inflammatory, it's got antimicrobial properties. So if you're someone that tends to get a lot of UTIs, a lot of other infections, we're not going to talk about all of them, but other infections, if you eat cilantro on a regular basis, it'll help you with fighting those. So this is about a 1/4 cup of cilantro that I went ahead and chopped up. Put that in there with your kale. And then we're going to use lime again. If you don't have fresh limes, you can use the lime juice that you get in like the little squirty bottles. Put this across here. It's a juicy lime. Like I probably could have used only half of it, but the recipe calls for a whole. Okay, now use your fingers, okay? Don't be afraid to get a little into what you're doing, what you're cooking. So what you want to do, and this actually helps to not only coat the kale, but it wilts it just a little bit, and it's easier to eat that way. So you always want to go ahead and massage it. It also keeps some of the bitterness down if you do what's called massaging your kale when you're going to use it. So that's what I'm doing right here, is massaging my kale. This is really, really good when you first make it, but I kind of like it just as much, if not better, the next day or after it's sat for a little while, because more of the flavors go into it. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands now. Rinse these off. Anybody got any questions so far? No questions yet, Princess?
Nope.
All right, everybody's just watching the wonderful mangoes here. All right, so now I'm gonna cut this mango. And for this, you wanna actually peel the mango. Mango has a lot of fiber in it, and it's a very sweet fruit. But one of the great things about it is that it has a lot of fiber in it. So the fiber that is in the mango helps to balance out the insulin levels so that you're not getting a large surge of insulin and a spike in your blood sugar when you eat it. Now, all carbs do still count, so you don't want to overindulge in it, but it is very good. All right, there is a pit in the mango, so I'm going to just slice it off like this and cut it up into pieces to put on our salad. You can get mango frozen, and for our other little sweet treat recipe, I did buy frozen mango. This into chunks and just put it in my salad. And a whole one of these. So I know that at least one person did the guacamole recipe last week. I hope that more people did. And feel free to post your pictures when you do make them. All right, Princess, you want to take a look in there, see how pretty that is? So I'm going to talk about how pretty it is. I like food that's pretty. All right, so now in addition, we're going to put on here some red onions. So red onions have a lot of flavor. They also have antimicrobial benefits. I'm going to mix that up again because you want the onions flavor to get throughout your salad. But you also still want to have that pretty mango on top. And then in addition, I'm adding blueberries to my salad because blueberries are another very powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and have quercetin in them, which helps if you have allergies. So I put those in there. I'm gonna sprinkle some pine nuts. Pine nuts, you don't need a whole lot, just a little bit goes a long way. And I'm using goat cheese. You can use feta or goat cheese. Goat cheese is very creamy. If you've never had it before, it's a very creamy, it has a distinct taste to it. And I use goat cheese, and most people tolerate goat cheese better because goats aren't mass produced like cows are when we're getting dairy. So it doesn't upset your stomach as much as an actual dairy because they don't put growth hormones in there. There's less lactose in there. I mean, since they're usually raised on small farms, they don't have a lot of the other chemicals and things injected that they do with cows because they don't mass produce it quite the same. Feta is a mix of goat milk and cow's milk. So it has more of a firmer kind of consistency. It's, some people call it a little chalky, and it has a very strong flavor to it. It's less, bothers people's stomachs a little bit less than like straight milk, but it does still have a lot of the chemicals in it if it is mass produced. So you want to make sure you read your labels that it's an organic type of feta if you're going to use the feta cheese. But the goat's milk only takes a little bit. Both goat's cheese and feta cheese only takes a very little bit. You don't have to go overboard with it. It actually ruins the flavor of most meals or whatever dishes that you're using it in if you put too much in there. So a little goes a long way. All right, there is our beautiful mango kale salad. You can also sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on there to mix that up through if your taste buds like. Now, since we're doing mangoes, and mangoes are a big treat, and I've told you how they do almost everything under the sun, we're going to do actually a mango nice cream. So I've been talking about this to a lot of my patients about how to make ice cream that isn't actually ice cream, because a lot of people, again, lactose intolerance, we don't want all the hormones that are injected into the cow's milk that we use in our ice creams, and a lot of the other chemicals that they put in there. So we're going to use basically some frozen fruit. There's my hands up here again. This, I did just pick up a bag of the mangoes that were frozen. You can cut and freeze your own mangoes if you'd like, but I find this is way easier. So to make this, grab your mixer. Well, I'm gonna have to cut this open, my hands are wet. Put however much you want in there. You can use it for now or you can use it for later. I have maple syrup if you want to sweeten it more, but mangoes are so sweet you may not need any more than that. And I also have coconut milk, full fat coconut milk. So of course there's no injected hormones of any kind into a coconut. So this is plant-based, and the coconut milk is with the full fat in it. It's like MCT oils, which makes you fuller for longer, and it balances out your hormones, and you need the good omegas to help make hormones and for brain health. So that's why we use coconut milk. If you're using a full fat coconut milk and you've never used it before, you want to make sure you shake it up really good, because it's very, very thick. And sometimes it has like a layer on top of it, but we're going to pour this, so I don't want to take the top off. I'm going to use a can opener, but that's why make sure you shake it really, really good, and know that it may come out a little bit chunky. Don't panic. Doesn't mean that it's bad. That means that you just took all the fat that was on the top and shook it up throughout the liquid part that was on the bottom, so that's what makes it a little chunky. All right, so pour a little bit in there, and you can see that. So when you're pouring it, you have to stop, shake it a couple minutes, pour it in there, shake it. Yep, I'm making a mess. I usually pour it out into something else, but I wanted you to see what I do. There we go. So we got past that one chunk. I am not going to put in the maple syrup just yet. You guys are awfully quiet. All right, loud noise. Syrup in there because it'll help it with the mixing. So if you're going to be sweetening something, you want to use that. You can use pitted dates if you don't want to use maple syrup. You can use honey. exciting part of cooking, right? But this turns out as ice cream.
Will you refresh us what we're making today?
Oh, what we're making? Well, this is mango nice cream. And we just made a mango kale salad. So here is our ice cream. It doesn't look glorious, but if you put that in the refrigerator, put it in the freezer, it'll actually scoop just like regular ice cream. One of the other things that you can do with this, and I'm going to blend it up a little bit more, but one of the other things that you can do with this is put it into these little popsicle containers so that it's good for the kids to eat, and it's like a little creamsicle. My grandson is lactose intolerant, and it just seems so cruel that everybody else is eating ice cream around him and he doesn't get to eat it. So, Mammy makes sure he has ice cream that he can have. But you can do this with bananas, you can do it with blueberries. So you can go with bananas, blueberries, strawberries, anything that you really want. You can make one of these nice creams with it. So now I'm going to shake that up a little bit more. So pour it into there. Or I'm going to put it in with a spoon. So now you can have the same stuff as everybody else, or yours is actually better for you. You don't ever feel deprived because you get to have ice cream, a sweet treat, and the only sugar that was added into there was the natural sugars of the mango and then the maple syrup that we put in there. The coconut milk also makes it really creamy and gives it a nice consistency and a little bit of a sweet flavor. Right, so you see? A little popsicle, and I'll put that in the freezer so that when it comes out a little easier and not like the actual ice cream. Same with this, I'll put it in the freezer so that it firms up a little bit. And if you wanted to scoop it into like your little ice cream scooper into a couple of different bowls for later or for company, you can do that also. All right, so what questions do we have? Anything about our hormone balance, our mangoes, our blueberries, the food that we made today? Any questions for me? You've got me for a few more minutes. Since we figured out that whole live chat thing. And I know that it's lunchtime and that a lot of you guys are at work or you're doing your task in the middle of the day and we'll have to watch this later. That's all right. You can still ask questions. You can still comment on it. Just go inside of our Facebook group. The Health Interventions with Marsha Jones NP is the name of the Facebook group. And if you are needing some hormone balance, or if you have issues with cancer and you're trying to prevent cancer, or you are currently going through your treatments, that is part of what I do with the cancer prevention program that I have. We also have just the webinar program if you want to watch that on your own and you don't actually really want a one-on-one, or you want to see what it's all about. That is at marshajonesnp.com also. So I guess we don't have any more questions. Oh wait, we do have a question. Okay.
Will you refresh us on what's all in that salad?
Oh, well, of course. And I'm going to post the recipe also. So what this is kale that had lime juice and olive oil that we mashed it all together to massage up our kale. And then there's blueberries, mangoes, goat cheese, pine nuts, and salt and pepper, and some red onions is what's in there. But so, like I said, I'm going to be posting that for you, and the link. I do these at 12, so I actually have the link scheduled to go off at about 1 o'clock, so that you guys will get the link to that. That gives me time to do this, clean up my mess, and if there's any questions that I need to address in what I'm posting, I can add those in there too for you. Anything else? No? We're good? All right. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week yet. I got so many things in my head that I want to do. and I can't do them all at once. But maybe next week we'll do some salmon, unless there's something else somebody has an idea they would like me to do. But anyway, comment, share, please share, like, post, and you can find it on YouTube, Facebook, who knows where else, and email. You guys have a good day. Bye.